Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Monday morning, July 20th, 2020. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I also want to thank all the new subscribers that have joined in the last week and a half. I really am grateful that you've joined the community. If you find these videos helpful, absolutely please click down and subscribe to the channel so you get updates. And most importantly, if some of the stock picks find the right side of the trade for you and you make some money, definitely leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about your success. If you'd like to trade together for the next 30 days, absolutely click down too and learn about the bootcamp. Today we're going to talk about another COVID company that I want to read this as clearly as possible. A crucial COVID-19 vaccine update is coming from this company on Monday, which is today. It had some pretty big volume last week. A few people in the community correctly called it out. We kind of get in early on the idea when we see the price action and volume. I personally didn't trade it last week, but today it's hitting some really interesting levels. And with the news, it should be in play today. So, of course, we're going to be talking about AstraZeneca, AZN. But we're going to start out with the market first. I'm going to do a quick analysis of the S&P 500. We're going to take a look at how we believe that sector rotation is happening right now. It's coming out of technology stocks. It's coming out of what we call stay-at-home stocks, and then shifting its way into some of these COVID-related trades right now. So Netflix is also on our watch list today as well. We had earnings last week in Netflix, last Thursday. Massive amount of questions, both inside the YouTube channel as well as in the community. Should I hold it? Should I hold it? And just clearly looking at the chart, it looked like the news was already priced in. We actually rallied $100-something prior to the announcement. Sold off, obviously, if we're sticking with the theme of stay at home versus getting outside. I don't have a call on the trade right now other than to say we're pretty much guaranteed to have volume and we're pretty much guaranteed to have volatility because it's kind of stuck in what we call that phantom zone. It's tradable if you're an active trader and you could make good, fast decisions. You'll be able to find some ideas. So my point is keep it on your radar. It just might not be setting up as an A+ trade, but it will be a good idea if you're a day trader looking for some opportunity in a stock that moves quickly, can move far, and you're good at making intraday decisions. So we're going to head over to the charts. We're going to take a look at some new ideas. And as we said, we're going to start out with AstraZeneca. Well, first we're going to take a look at the market. If you watch today's Stocks for Breakfast, we went over in a lot of detail looking at a potential change of trend zone. And you can see the SPY had one here and it had another one here, and it's kind of just drifting. If you know our style of trading, if you know our individual signals, you can see that now the SPY ETF has now traded into 3 consecutive melted candlesticks and back at resistance. So you can actually make an argument that right up here now is the new level, and we're kind of moving into a new, much wider box again. You can make the argument that the box is actually over here now. We need to get out of this 316 to 324 window. Either way, the point is it's not clear at all in the market right now. Sure, you can make a case that we're long here. Absolutely the truth. But the bottom line is it's anything but simple trading this right now. We're having sell-offs that are getting caught with buying. We're having rallies that are getting caught with massive selling, like you see last week here. The market itself, especially the SPY, is kind of in a neutral zone right now, short term, longer term, going back to March, clearly bullish. So what I'm saying here is we need to really dig in, do our work on stock-specific ideas. If we can get above 324 and stay there, then we're talking about something different. Then we're actually looking at getting back to the pre-pandemic highs at 340. That would be pretty interesting. So the point that I'm making here is we spend a lot of time looking at the market, and it kind of adds that juice, that power behind the trade to have extra conviction. Right now we're dropping at one level, and we're looking at sector-specific and industry-specific conviction levels based on a lot of money flying into those individual sectors. And ironically, we're going to take a look at Penn and LVS. They're not really trade opportunities right now in the sense that they're perfect ideas. You can clearly see now, hopefully you can tell in a heartbeat that the stock doesn't really have any good solid order flow going back to the May period when we broke out here. But it seems that it can't get, very much like Facebook at 240, this stock seems to just want to hang on to this $35 level. So it's going to be on my radar again, but much, much more likely that it's going to be a day trade because I just don't see enough price action confirmation The tape is not telling me that it is a great idea, but it is a level that price keeps getting pulled to. So it's going to be more of a day trade. You can see here there's not a lot of room to go. So the upside potential on anything other than a day trade just doesn't make sense. So above 35 is where we'll be taking a look at it. And when, obviously, in the same sector we called last week, it couldn't get through that level, stalled at the level again. So this is real trading, guys. This is real tape reading where you're saying, I'm not going to guess where it's going. That is where it's having a problem. And if it finally gets through there, we'll change our opinion and change our bias. But right now, these are not the greatest trades in the world. The reason I'm bringing these up now is because we're getting a lot of feedback from people that are running scans, and they're saying, what is the idea? This is popping up my scan. It did 10% yesterday. What am I supposed to do? 8%. I'm looking for follow through. Bottom line is it's not a great idea. I don't see any consistent order flow. We don't see any week-to-week price action where it's saying, wow, the smart money is really starting to allocate money to this thing. Let's hop on board. Let's find a spot for a loan. It's not. It's not a great idea. So let's be disciplined. And if we're going to allocate money, we want it to always be great ideas. So we started talking about AstraZeneca today. Significant increase in volume. It's in the news right now, very much like mRNA and NVAX, which we're going to get to in a second. So you can see what's going on. It's actually down $1 pre-market, but I think that's just the indecision heading into whatever they're going to announce today. Is it going to be on my radar today? Yeah, 100%. Any stock that has this type of potential news has potential for volume, volatility, and a clear direction. So what I'm looking for is to be bidding for this lower opening, and then if it gets above yesterday's close, which you can see here is 61.10, I'm going to be looking to add to that position, which brings me to NVAX. Hopefully you joined us Thursday and Friday, and if you're a subscriber to the channel, awesome. If you really want to get in and learn exactly where we're getting in and out, NVAX on Thursday and Friday, very similar to Roku previously, where Thursday and Friday were really profitable days. You can end your week with these huge exclamation points and massive P&L heading into the weekend. And I can tell you as a trader, nothing is better than to be making money on a Friday, booking it, getting flat, and then having a really nice weekend. So anyway, NVAX is still in play, but I want to say what I said, the same thing about a few stocks recently. I like it as a day trade right now. It's traveled a little too far. It's gone $50 in this last move. Again, it's in the news. You can continue to keep going. I'm just talking about the probability of follow through. I still like it long. I still like it as a day trade. And again, hopefully if you've been with us for at least over a week, this area here, when it gapped up and paused, this is exactly what we're looking for. So we're looking for this to happen again, looking for the next move, just so we can manage the downside. Next, we have mRNA. Very, very similar opportunity. Clearly, finally broke through the level. This stock in this box over here, which again, we're going to keep talking about, you get chopped up here, and that's where your money goes to die. You want to see this. You want to trade when there's movement. Hopefully on Friday, you took advantage of this one day of consolidation leading to a trend day, and that's why we pulled them out and look at them all day, every day. We had some members in the community just really crushing it in this stock on Monday. The points that were earned, again, we use points because everybody trades different share size, but it's the right stock to be in at the right time, because if you do what we're doing and putting the argument together, it's not that challenging to find the right trade. What is challenging is what happens between entry and exit, and really learning to move from chart reader all the way up to actually making money on a regular basis where you expect to make money. So again, very similar situation here. We dropped the light. Very similar situation here where we want to definitely be long as it meets certain criteria. IBM has earnings today. I just want to make sure I talk about it. Halliburton has earnings before the market. IBM has earnings after hours. Again, congratulations to everybody who initiated a swing trade or held their swing trade in Virgin Galactic SPCE on Friday. Quite a few people asking, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I made it very clear. We want to be long as it stays above this level. It stayed long, and now the stock is now moving comfortably. We've got a nice head start. We want to talk about MNST today. Very clean breakout, has not extended itself. 4 days of closing above the open. We want to make sure, though, that I start to really discuss what is the next level, and you can see that we're actually looking at all-time highs, so we've been spending a lot of time looking at all-time highs. As long as it stays above Friday's close, that will validate the breakout. Best case scenario, we're looking for it to remain well bid, which means higher highs, higher lows, trading above Friday's close and specifically above the open. APT is another one that got called out in the community, and actually, interestingly, It actually got called out over here. I believe it was from Ron, if I'm not mistaken, Ron or Nick. Somebody called it out. We actually broke out over here. We said we want to see it stay above that level. It did, traveled sideways for a little while, and now actually we're seeing some volume. As long as it stays above 20. So I'm going to give you the same type of swing trade thought process that we had in SPCE last week. OSTK, look, I mean, I'm not finding this stock to be the easiest stock in the world to trade. And you can see why I've been really big on what it's doing over the last 3 to 5 days, and I want it to be obvious, and you can see it's anything but right now. So the big thing we want to pay attention to is during a consolidation, has volume increased? And it actually has. The last couple of days, it's been a decrease on some moves to the upside. So for me personally, I'm going to answer a lot of questions from people in the community. I see this as a potential change of trend. But remember, the word potential is big there. If it gets over 50, it's a new long. Keep that number in mind. And specifically waiting for it to close above that level if you want to be a little more conservative. Trade below 41 would be a change of trend and where you either scale out or get out. Z actually is an interesting one, depending on what you're reading. We've been spending a lot of time on housing stocks and specifically Lennar, where we recognize relative strength. So along those same lines and same industries and all that kind of stuff, Z is actually now at a new breakout level. The thing here, though, is you can see every time it gets up to this level, it fails. So we really wanted to get above this level and at least close above this level on the daily chart. So this is more setting up a trade to add to your watch list for tomorrow as opposed to trading it. And you can see when it does move, it actually has some nice price action that moves pretty quickly. So let's say, for argument's sake, of 45 to 63, so roughly $18. So we could be looking at a 64 plus 18 there. What is that? $82 as the next level. So we'll see what happens there. PAAS, nice job in the community by calling that, which, by the way, this is a really big part of being in the community. If everybody's looking at the same thing, if everybody understands order flow, if everybody understands how to read the tape, we're giving each other great ideas. And this is another one breaking out to significant highs. I like this one as a swing trade. If you're a regular subscriber to the channel, which I hope you are, you'll see that there's a lot of melted candles in here, which makes this stock very difficult to day trade. This is much more of a swing trading stock. PEG actually getting up to resistance where the next level is 60. I don't see a lot of upside. This is really more me answering somebody in the comments about this stock. I don't see upside to this stock. So it's one thing to say the stock is definitely moving. It's one thing to say the stock is definitely something you'd want to buy. But if remember what we talk about all the time, does the risk justify the profit potential? And in this particular case here, the answer is no. It's clearly something you'd be interested in buying because the smart money is actually getting involved. But what's your upside? The upside is only a few dollars. So you're risking $2 to make $2. It doesn't make sense. Twilio, actually an interesting one. We're actually going to end on a couple of I want to talk about Match.com after this as a trading lesson in a second. But Twilio is the stock. Twilio is the company. Really good volume breaking out of a 3-day consolidation. I don't like it until it gets above 238. I'm sorry, 248. We have roughly $10 as a day trade between now and the resistance level. But the reason I'm saying that is it keeps getting up to that level and failing, getting up to that level and failing. And we just had 3 days of consolidation after heavy selling. I like the stock long as a day trade today up to 248. I'd like it better over 250 as a swing trade. I want to end on Match.com because we've actually gone into not only a potential change of trend, but now we are actually in a full-blown change of trend where if you watch today's moving average video, this was where the trend line broke. And now we actually closed very weak on Friday. And again, I just want to keep pointing this out. If you're new to tape reading, this is the big thing. Heavy selling, all-time highs, heavy selling here, which is why we did not expect this to retrace and test up here. We just took a quicker 3-day swing trade here. And now it's not shocking because you learned to read the tape. So there's a lot more to setting up profitable trades, than just putting on charts or moving averages and saying, I definitely want to be long. This is a really good example of Match.com of taking it a step deeper, making the jump from chart reader to tape reader where you're building the argument, you're putting the pieces together and you're saying, yeah, I like it long, but something changed there. That's a huge part of the equation. Is it still obvious? Has it changed? If the answer is yes, it's obvious and nothing's changed, you continue to hold, and that's really the question is, how do I hang on to my winners? You need to ask that question. And is it still obvious and has it changed? If the answer comes back yes, which we saw a deep pullback on heavy volume, you now need to adapt to make a different decision because you just can't trade blindly and say, I just want to hold the stock forever. I shouldn't say that. You can't, if you're a trader actively managing and you're in this window that we're looking at, we're anywhere from a day, a week to a month. If the circumstances change over that period of time, you have to make different decisions. That's a better way to turn. I'm not talking about investing. Anyway, hope you find some profitable trades from last week. We had some really, really good calls last week. Looking for some follow through here. Keep an eye on AZN. If you're an active day trader, definitely be looking at Netflix today. Again, not an A-plus trade, but definitely something to be watching because of volatility and volume. And some of these breakouts are looking pretty good today too. So have a great day. If you have any questions, leave feedback below the video. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, definitely please subscribe. And if you want to take it a step further, learn about trading with me in real time for the next 30 days. Have a great day, everybody.